As a therapist, there's something that I've seen time and again over my, years of working and just as a person in general that's guaranteed to keep your relationship stuck, not moving forward, and to keep you in a state of unhappiness. And that is when people sweep things under the rug. When people sweep things under the rug, you are going to be stuck in a very vicious cycle of pretend performance, non conflict resolution. All the things are going to be happening. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones, I'm a licensed therapist. And one of the things that I've seen that happens, and this happens in couples, this happens in friendships, work relationships, families, even, and regardless of what relationship dynamic that it happens in, you know, when people sweep things under the rug, they act like there's no problem. If there's no problem, there's no challenges in behavior. I'm not required to change anything, and we can keep on doing things business as per usual until the next blow up, and we can all play pretend. A lot of times, when you're playing pretend with someone and you are sweeping things under the rug, one typically at least one person is usually in a state of anxiety. Um, you know, you're walking on eggshells because it's just a matter of time before you're going to have a problem again, or that person's going to do something, or there's going to be a level of disrespect. It's just a matter of time, and so you're walking on eggshells, and we're going along with the okey doke so that we can hopefully prevent another rupture, another outburst. But people are human, so that's not likely going to happen. But try as we might, something is bound to happen, and typically it's usually the very thing that got you upset the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that. And so problems become repeat. They're stuck on repeat because we're not committed to growth. When you sweep things under the rug, there's no growth in the relationship. There's no progression forward. We're stuck in a state of limbo. We're stuck in a state of emotional immaturity, or we're stuck in an impasse where one person refuses to acknowledge feelings, to acknowledge behaviors, to acknowledge the wrongdoing. And if you can't acknowledge, if we can't have the difficult discussion, what the hell are we doing? It's kind of like, what are we doing? We're playing a game of pretend. When we play a game of pretend, and neither one of us really knows each other. We know the parts of us that just go along to get along, but you don't really know who I am deep down. You don't really know. You don't really have a desire to connect with me, to have a real relationship with me. You don't have a desire. You don't have a consideration for feelings. You don't have a desire for vulnerability, intimacy, and true deep connection. So whenever person comes back into life, they're skipping along and they act like there's no problems after they just did something disrespectful, and they pick up that phone, or they get in your face and they start talking to you. It's as if nothing ever happened. Bygones. We're just going to let that go. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to bring up old stuff. We're not going to be negative. We're not going to be emotional. We actually kind of have to be. We kind of have to pull things out. We don't have to get ugly. We don't have to get disrespectful to each other. But yeah, we do have to have some uncomfortable conversations. And yeah, we might have to have some uncomfortable feelings. But that's needed for growth. That's needed for connection. It's needed to take our relationship to the next level. When a person refuses to, do those things, they are telling you who they are. And when you co-sign, because essentially the longer you stay in a relationship like that, you are essentially co-signing on those behaviors. You're saying, hey, it's okay with me that we're sweeping things under the rug. That's how they interpret it. Whether it's right or wrong, that's how they interpret it. Hey, if we're together, if you're, in my face every day, we live together, we still have sex, we still go out, we still talk on the phone, we still do all the things, you still work here, then you're okay with how things are going down. And so, as a person, you've got to stop and think, am I really okay with this? Is this really okay with me? Or does this not work for me anymore? And, sometimes, people get it right away and they're able to make adjustments. Sometimes people, it may take them many years, before they get it. Other people, they never get it and they never change and they kind of stay in a cycle for forever. But you've got to decide whether you're okay with, how things are carrying on. And if you're not okay with it, or do you have the balls to say, you know what, I'm not okay with it, and I don't care, what the fallout may be. I don't care that you don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it. And if that means ultimately, we have to walk away from each other because you're not willing to take this step forward with me, I'm okay with that consequence. So, again, just my thoughts for today. And one of the things that I've always found to be true, that, sweeping things under the rug, it just prolongs the inevitable. It allows all this um, disruptions, disturbances, and disrespect and non communication to go on. But, more importantly, it allows, one or both of you to suffer in silence. Hope that helps. Thanks so much.